Good morning, darlings. Full moon happening, about to happen. So it's a big full moon. We have got the sun, the ruler of Leo, in Cancer, 69, Tropic of Cancer, and we have got the moon, the ruler of Cancer, in detriment in Capricorn. So this is the Saturn moon midnight express, original summer winter axis, feminine axis, black high cardinal earth and white high cardinal water, ruler of the lunar pillar. And we've got Mars, Mercury and Venus in Leo. So the sun rules Leo and the sun is in Cancer. So Black Madonna with the sun, with this mother, and the sun is ruling the energies, therefore, of Venus, which is retrogrades on her way back to Cancer, in between the O MON pillars, 101 passage, closing her 8-year cycle, 2023, before the Paris Olympics next year, which is the lamp. It's the Mr. Tumnus lamp. It's the lamb, PB, lamp, lamb with a B, PB, led to gold. The lion lies down with the thalamus, and Saturn is retrograde on the thalamus. Saturn, the ruler of Father Air, that carries the wisdom, and of Capricorn, Mother Earth, Kronos and Gaia, Chris Rea, at the beach, the horizon, the line, the Nile, the Midnight Express in that film, the Turkey. It's the lunar energy, Islam, that is coming in. So we've just had the death of Sinead O'Connor. I'm going to take you through all this little bit by little bit, post by post. And we've got very changing weather, so it's been, hasn't been as hot as everyone's been saying. We've had this incredible mystical winds, breezes, and electrifying grease lightning, electric, Elon Musk, D'Artagnan, thunderstorms. So we've had another 2 since I last spoke to you. One where I've been on the other side of the Gers, where my oldest, dearest English friend, who I've known since I arrived in France, age 18, and she is now the same age as Jane Birkin, and she is just on her last breaths. She is the Jeanne d'Arc we met in Compiègne, where Jeanne d'Arc, the Arc, is the pop-off, created the radio signal, a Russian man. It is the arc between your left and right brain. It is this arc. This is the arc. So I went to see her this weekend. I passed through Ile de Noé, Noah's Ark, where there will be a massive festival for D'Artagnan. The Electric Light Orchestra, ELO, LOLO, as Pluto is now sitting next to the moon and just back in LO from black. So we've got Pluto and the moon together before this full moon, which is going to be a little bit later today. Moon in high cardinal black Madonna, and Pluto just back from Capricorn to yellow before coming back here on the 3rd of the 1st of January. So Saturn on the true third eye, ruler of here, and moon, ruler of Cancer. So my friend, I wasn't able to do a newsletter this weekend. I have spent 3 days sitting with her, holding her hands, and knowing, you know, she's still with us, but she can't express herself anymore. And it's always very symbolic when you can fit people's lives into the bigger picture and see how we're being shown and led along the way. So I have to try and remember everything that's happened since the last video, Sunday a week ago. And we have a lot to explain. Venus is becoming on her way to being her most invisible. She's only illuminated at 5. And she will in the next few days before the next new moon. So here she goes on her way. She will arrive in Cancer just before the next black moon on the 16th. She will just arrive in Cancer, and then we'll have that new moon in Leo. So yeah, there's the Isle of Noé. I also went through the town of Mouche, the fly, and you know, there really is this connection between, it's the winter and the summer triangle. Narnia, the Ice Queen, summer, winter, the silver golden gates. So we've got the golden gate, the golden triangle here. So there's your wolf where I am, Lupiac, the dart in Aignan. And then we have the winter triangle, which is what you see. It's the longest distance from New Zealand is exactly where I live. So this is, I've shown you Tauranga, Merlin, the magician, the canary in the cage, and this triangle here. And we've got the Betelgeuse here holding the torch, the lamp of Narnia. So this 40 days, 40 nights retro of Venus, she will move forward on the 1st of September. That day I'll always remember, the temptations. Papa was a rolling stone. And she is going to be completely invisible just after this black moon. This is the Ishtar. This is the energy of Ishtar, Inanna. We've had the events in Paris, in Nanterre. I live in Aignan, which is pronounced AIG. We say N, but that is, in English you would say egg. An eagle in French is AIG with that L. So today is the 1st of the 8th. 1 and 8 is 18. 18 and 18 makes 36. 180 is an opposition on a 360-degree wheel. And 8 and 1 makes 9. And my village is the 322. Equinox, Genesis, 322. Skull and Bone, Cross. And our postcode is 3229090. So today is that 9. And in my village today, we're going to come to all this. This is what I have seen this morning, written in the heart of our village. TacTics, TICTAC, TickTock. There was also a man that has just been killed in a Wonderland fun fair. That was in, and then this is the road at the leaving the village. So here you see Lupiac 7 kilometers. So today is the 9th. That's the 90-degree angle leg, which is that 7 to Lupiac, which is the home of D'Artagnan, the Lupiac Zodiac, which is the Louvre, the mother of Romulus and Remus. 18, today is the 18th. RR is the 18th letter. RR is 1818. So there's the bull celebrating Easter, and every Easter day 8 bulls are killed to represent this 8-year cycle from the first great eclipse that crosses America, and to this last one coming up on the 8th of April 2024, which will be followed by the Paris Olympics. And next year, 2024, is the year of the snake. And this is all about this Milky Way closing of those two triangles, the silver and the golden gates, winter and summer triangle. We've got Venus retrograding between the Lion and Cancer, Leo Cancer, Sol O MON, and we have Saturn opposite on the true third eye, and Venus rules the Taurus, the Bull, and Libra, where the tail of the snake currently is, and the head of the snake. And the head of the snake is next to Jupiter, and Uranus is here next to Jupiter at the moment, nearly in Pisces, as Chiron is nearly in Aries, going in opposite directions. So Venus rules Taurus, and Venus rules Libra, as Mars rules Aries, and Mars rules Scorpio, which is where we're going to be having another eclipse coming up later on at the end of this summer. We'll check that afterwards. But what's important right now is this, and we will get to this post, which is today. But as you know, my village is the 5-pointed star, which is, so there's Inanna holding the one breast that makes the Elon Musk, the bullseye, the Nikola Bulai, the Turkey earthquake. So we've got this, and this is the cycle of Venus. So since the first eclipse, closing now this last buckle, she continues. She's continually every 2 years, she's doing a retrograde. But this is the flower of between this, we've had the coronavirus, this passage into the new world, into the digital worlds. So today is a sturgeon full moon, and this is the fish from lakes. It's a lake fish. So this is what I have. I've got in each Lupiac and Enyon, we've got a lake. I'm not sure if we've got these fish in it, but this is where we've got, right by the eye of Cetus, Jupiter in Aries, but we do have the North Node coming into Pisces and Chiron coming in, making a crossover over Cetus. And we've got the moon, the ruler, the moon's home in Capricorn, full moon, and sun in Cancer. So sturgeon is the common name for the 28 species of fish belonging to the family Accipinceridae. The earliest sturgeon fossils date to the late Cretaceous and are descended from other earlier of these fish, which date back to the early Jurassic Park energy. So yeah, this is the Kraken, that's Cancer. This is the division, Capricorn, Cancer, the tropics, Charles and Camilla, CC, Bordeaux, 33, vertebrae, green tree, and we've got Jack rising. So we've had Jane Birkin die, Sinead O'Connor, so that's the English-French Jane Birkin connection, and Sinead O'Connor is Irish, the Green Man, St Patrick, who kills the snakes. He sends the snakes out of Ireland. All the Virgin lands don't have snakes. New Zealand, Iceland, Hawaii, and islands. And Iceland as well. So we have the first of 2 supermoons this month. So today is the second of 4 supermoons. Right. So the chart for this full moon today, here we've got that on the 1/8, that 180 opposition, which is a full moon. Pluto already in Sagittarius retrograde. There is the North Node. Here is Chiron about to do this meeting, swapping signs. Saturn right on Fomalhaut, opposite Mercury on Regulus, conjunct to Venus on her way retro back, and Mars, the ruler of where Uranus and Jupiter are, and the North Node, Aries. So this high cardinal energy square. And we've got two fingers of God. So this I spoke about in my last newsletter and I think my last video, between Pluto in retrograde now in the home of Jupiter, so in Sagittarius, Neptune in Pisces, Jupiter's feminine, ruler of the mutable feminine water Pisces, and masculine fire mutable Sagittarius. So Jupiter's two homes with Pluto and Neptune making a finger of God to Venus retrogrades, and another one here between the tail of the snake in Libra, ruled by Venus on Regulus, and also making that finger of God to Venus again and pointing to Neptune retrograde in Pisces, as we have this full lake, Loch Ness, Kraken, full moon today. Right, so we'll come back and have a look at this as we're moving along. Okay, so from last video, 21st of July, I did a second. Okay, what's happening? Okay, so I had to roll all the way down again. So from last video, I did a second video about Jane. Goodbye Jane, jour J, Julian Gregorian calendar, D-Day. Oh, now what's happening? Uh-oh. Okay, I didn't want that. So I can't see more without it moving around. Everything is about the rose line, Nile, your spine, 33cc. There's Capricorn, Cancer, Game of Thorns, Thrones. Red Rose, White Rose, and the birth of the Betty Blue Rose, BB22, La Marianne, red, white, and blue. At the closure of 88HH constellations, the Orus Boreas Milky Way Snake, 2024 Year of the Dragon, Paris Torch of Merlin is lit, the Eiffel Tower, Narnia, Lamp, Bee, Post, Paddy Bear, Lead Element. So that's 82, the lead element. That's tomorrow. Today is 1/8. Seal of Solomon, JB, BJ Pillars. You are the magician. Orion, the Medusa, Medulla, Canary, and the Can Tin. Can of Adder's Cage. Palmer, Canary Islands. The bulb is the volcano within you. You are the thalamus. Be the lamp. So for some reason that post is no longer available. Then this is coming back to Jane and something I realized after the last video. See, I'm having a lot of difficulty with that opening. So was Dune. So I showed you his house is now a museum. We have the gateway. Jane and Gainsbourg again is jour J, Julian Gregorian calendars. And his house is at 5-pointed star. Bis 2. So there is the A lion, the lion, a lion, the lien is the link, and bis is the second. So 2, the lie, the lie North Polaris, N, not the true N. We've now got New Zealand, the New Zealands, this connection between where I am and New Zealand, and this closing of the 50 years, the 5-0, Hawaii 5-0, makes the WHO, that's the pharmaceutical, medical, we're bringing up the green pharmaceutical, mental health care, this gap of Fucius, the 13th sign. He's the medicine, the doctor, Doctor Who. It's the St Patrick, the green man. So his house is at Verneuil, Verneuil, that means the eye of the worm. Dune. So Dune, the elephant, barber's trunk, the seal of Solomon is the worm, Verneuil. So also a play on the spine, same word as penis. The colon vertèbre, green arm, vertebrae, is the worm, Verneuil, Verneuil. Gainsbourg, G7, house in 5-star bis, Rue de Verneuil. And so Verneuil is also the name of killing fields of where a lot of people were killed in trenches in the First World War in France. So the vessel, oh yeah, I said verveine, which is a plant in my last video. I always make these slips of the tongue. The vessel is the head of the asexual singularity of the worm, ver, the eye of the worm, verneuil of the worm. So just like on the Solomon seal, the vessel I've been showing you, the Titan that went down, there's that porthole, that one eye, it's the eye, it's the bullseye, it's the mosque, it's the breast of Venus. So dedicated to Serge Gainsbourg, the house is an institution, cultural, situated at 5 bis. And then we've got the Eiffel Tower, sits between the 7th arrondissement and the 16th. Jane died on the 16th of the 7th. And that is between the Seine, the river, the snake that runs through, and, you know, the Notre Dame was on the Eye of Louis, the Ile, the Isle of Louis. It's an island on the Seine, which is where Jane Birkin lived. So, and it makes the hat in The Little Prince. They show us the Seine. They show us that it's swallowed the elephant. So these pictures. Okay, computer is, right, there's the dune, which is very much like we've had all over the French newspapers. You're going to see in a minute. Aliens. We've even got astrologers talking about aliens when it's just the alien. You know, the aliens is when the animal side of the human takes over. So why isn't this going? So you see, this is like sun. It's the eye. You see an eye pet goat. We've got moon in Capricorn, the goats. So pictures are going very, very slowly. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to take you all the way through. That is too annoying. And I don't want to have a cut. Be patient. Okay, so then again, you see that was the 777 that came up in Australia, the eye. So I'm not going to go through all these pictures. That is going to take far too long. Okay, that was a mission. I'm not going to be opening up all the pictures. So actually somebody has shared this, but this post again was showing on the 17th of the 7th, the black moon on Pollux, Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Flies, Seigneur des Anneaux. And again, Jane that died at 76. You have the 7th seal, which is eternity. When the Lamb broke the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven, and the sixth seal is end of time. So it's as we're going backwards, 7, 6, and 7 and 6. 7 is 13, that 13th sign, that axis. And there's the eye again of the worm, the Verneuil, Solomon's seal, which is this where we're at now, the full moon in Cancer, after that black moon, new moon in Gemini, and then we'll have a new moon following on the 16th. Also, is it in Cancer? We just had a look. We'll be having another look. So this was a video from Uno, and it's really going to make me wait to do everything. Okay, so that was about this man in Australia that was found on a boat with his dog for the day of the black moon. And there you see the Truman going from southwest to northeast. When you look on the tracing board, the ladder, Jacob's ladder, does not go southwest, northeast. It goes up through the middle pillar to the 12th door Pisces. It doesn't end at 369. And there is the Truman showing you this other axis, this gap that we're in now. So the Green God Galactic Gap, 13th sign, Ophiuchus, Mexico, the fiery serpent on the pole. So he traveled from Mexico, Scorpio, Libra, but they rise the hero, Hercules, Ophiuchus, between Sagittarius, Scorpio, NE in the gap crossing, northeast. Milky Way, new equator line, Manilo, Mexico, 13. So it was in Manilo, Mexico. 1313 is the MM. And 1313 is also just 2 BBs, catch 22. So what's been written on the streets in my village and next to where I live, the exit of the village is TAC TAC or TAC TIC TAC TICK TOCK, which is TT, Tina Turner, 2020. T is the 20th letter, which is the same as 22 BB. So Betty Blue, Black Beauty, Back to Black. This is this new line which is being officially with this full moon today in the CC spine. So Tim Tin, Majeroo Marshalls, that's another place. Closing of the Milky Way in southwest northeast axis. Mexico marks the spot. The Red Sea crossing. The Pumelo, also known as a shaddock, is so very much like the shamrock. The Irish fleur de lis is a cross between a grapefruit and an orange, and therefore contains some compounds as grapefruit. Grapefruits and pumelos block an enzyme in the liver that breaks down many medications. So that was something to do with Shaddock, was the name of this man. That's right, that was his name. And Tuni is a fish. Okay, so then we had Enola Gay in Gay Pan. So Gay Pan is a new place in Toulouse, which is just for recording UFO sightings. So this is the front newspapers, and they also show in the Nevada desert, Burning Man. Las Vegas is the vagus nerve, that's the Christos oil coming up through. So I've put Enola, Ole, Gay Pan. So that's gay, that's how you pronounce Gay Pan. To lose the track, to lose Lautrec is not the 0 degree rose line. It's northeast 13th sign Ophiuchus, the GG77, green a lion, the visitors. Oh, gold track, to lose, longitude, latitude is 43 and 14442 north, so it's northeast Nevada, latitude and longitude is 39 and 117, 711. Nevada's Silver State is one of the western states of the United States, located in the Basin and Range Province that is a vast physiographic region. The state was bordered by Utah to the east, Oregon and Idaho to the north, California to the west, Arizona to the southeast. Nevada's capital is Carson City. You've got CC again. I have Carshett City here in my little village, the cowboy town, that is situated in the western part of the state. Nevada is the seventh, so western part of the state, CC, that's the true spine. The vertical is, we've been told, is the horizon. We have to see that the spring is, in fact, the new year, not St. Nicholas, not the Joker, not Ophiuchus, which they're bringing up in the northeast. So Nevada is the seventh largest state. So there's your 7, and the 9th least populated. So they give us the 7 and the 9. 7 minutes ovation at Cannes for John DeBarry, Jane Birkin, Jane B, and 9 minutes for Killers of the Flower Moon, and Jane dies at 76. That's just the flip. Least populated state in the country. The state is famous primarily with its casino capital, Las Vegas, large deposits of silver and other metals, Red Rock Canyon, Taco Lake, large deserts, over 300 mountain chains, blah, blah. So seen on my village for the 22nd of July, 6 million lotto, 39 euro million, it's your 369, your Tesla. That wheel is the eye of the dune, of the Solomon seal, of can you make that triangle between the breasts on the horizon and your third eye. But that horizon line is actually the vertical, and the new year is down on the horizon. It's the spring is the vertical, the equinox is the vertical, and the solstice is the horizon. So finding that correct. So somebody shared that. This is just showing this is the new golden age, dawn, rose cross, the colours, and the colours they keep showing for heat wave. In England, they show exactly these colours. So I put, this is how they cast spells on your unconsciousness, Ukraine, rainbow, brainbow, UK, hot weather. The rose cross layman as worn by adepts of the rose rubae and Aureole Crucis, the inner order of the golden dawn. So, you know, we're in the twilight zone. It's your dawn and dusk, D-Day. For general use in magical working, to be worn suspended from a yellow collarette of silk. On the reverse of the cross is the uppermost part, is an inscription in Latin, the Master Jesus, Christ, God and Man. Between 4 Maltese crosses is the lowest part, the magical motto of the adept, in the centre between the symbols of alchemical mercury, salt and sulphur. So that's the triangle. I told you when I was in New Zealand, I went to Point Sulphur by the sea salt with all the children Mercury to witness the closing of Pandora's box, the 4 corners. Okay, well, you get the gist of that. So this is a post that nobody saw. It was completely hidden, but it was quite important, showing you Soranus, Jane Birkin holding the telephone. It's the crescent moon. It's Dionysus, he's holding the fertility. This is the stag that takes the fertility from the Taurus with his, you know, this is not the 4-cornered cross. He's got a fawn, a bear, just like the children next to the Baphomets. And so there's Merlin, and Merlin is sitting here with that crescent, the arms, holding this moon. The 4 corners, we've got Aquarius, Eagle, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo. And Merlin is sitting between the solar and the lunar pillars, the BJ, JB, and this is exactly where we're at now, this gap. And again, here he is with Sirius. These are the two triangles with Altair and Sirius. And he's standing on the crocodile. I can't open it all. He's standing on the Milky Way snake, just like Ophiuchus Hercules stands on Scorpio. And then that was, I think that there is 81 or 82 flags worldwide that represent Islam, the crescent moon. It's the lunar energy. So I wrote here, take your time, right? So this is to help you see the crocodile connection, the A Lion, Line, Nile, Liberty, Glory, and BT telephone, LGBT. Call me, hello, 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 hanging on the telephone, Lord of the Rings, ring, ring, hello, hello, Orange, 369. The crescent croissant moon is the telephone. Did the Phoenicians develop the first phonetic alphabet? Amit, the crocodile. That's why at Lupiac the chateau is called Lacoste. That's the mark of the crocodile in France. So the three parts, you've got the Egyptian goddess with the forequarters of a lion, the hindquarters of a hippopotamus, and the head of a crocodile. The three largest man-eating animals known to ancient Egyptians. Phoenicians, the earliest Phoenician civilization dates back to 1500 BC in the Levant region of modern-day Lebanon. They eventually established a seafaring and trading empire that stretched throughout the Mediterranean Sea and profited off the rich trade in their port cities. Besides inventing the phonetic alphabet, the Phoenicians were known for their maritime technology, including the Nile and the idea of using caulking to waterproof ships between planks. Okay, so that's the LOLO. Somebody posted that on my Okay, so this happened last week. A little bat fell at my feet and I picked it up and it sat on the window ledge and just hung out with me a little bit and then it flew away. That video shows it flying away, and it was just before a storm was coming in, and this was a message from my friend that I had to go and see her where I've just been this weekend. And then I think you can see that little bat flying away. And that's the totem of the spirit guide. When bat flies in as a spirit animal, it is time to prepare for major life changes. Bat as a totem animal belongs to those who have acute powers of perception. Invoke bat as your power animal when you need courage to face the dark. So then, that was on the 23rd of July, so we're still not at the death of the Irish singer, O'Connor. I'll get to that. Storm building up as I write, about to hit, building up. Mercury entered Leo today from Cancer with love, hate, je t'aime, moi non plus, Mars, Venus and Leo. Mercury entered Leo today as Venus began her retro back to Cancer yesterday on the 22nd. BB. Catch 22, she started going retro. That's Venus flytrap. Catch 22 is the V and BB. V is the 22nd letter. V is the 5, the 5-pointed star. My village. Solomon. Leo, Sun, Cancer, Moon. Finger of God, a yod this week points to Mercury and Venus conjunct in Leo with a sextile between Neptune, retro and Pisces. Only mutable energy with Chiron also in Pisces and Pluto now in Sagittarius. So Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius and Pisces, where we had Chiron and Neptune and Pluto in Sagittarius, making that finger of God to Venus and Mercury on that date, the 23rd. So Pluto retro from Capricorn black, now in mutable fire, Sagittarius, yellow, hello. Saturn is retro in Aquarius, in conjunct to Sun, now in Cancer, since the 21st of July. Waxing crescent moon in Virgo, La Marianne, so the moon was still there for the death of Synod, we're going to see that in a minute. La Marianne, Jupiter, Zeus and Uranus both in high cardinal fire. Aries square to Sun in high cardinal water. North node in last months of Aries before entering Pisces, and head of snake approaches Chiron as Rahu. North node ends 18 months in Aries, and Chiron prepares to enter Aries, ending cycle since his discovery in 1977. South node in Libra. Venus rules Libra before entering Virgo. Before entering Virgo 2023. Okay, so we got the moon there, and that's just showing Mercury arriving in Leo. So that was my newsletter. Then we had that storm, so another part of where I live was hit with big Holy Grail. And then this was before I knew about my friend Jane. So we met in Compiègne, where Joan of Arc was caught, and she was by the English, and then she was killed in Rouen. So Compiègne, C, Rouen, R, that's Cairo, that's Charles Rex, that's Chiron, that is your Chronos as well. So Jane Arc of the crane, brain, bow, and the passage through the JBBJ temples. Church, La Roque, Rock, Pic, that's the name of the chateau next to me where Willie and Kate came. Pic, Nicolas, Hanging Rock. The stone of the eye of the rose. Moon on Spica, blue star of Virgo. That's the 21st of July. This is before I knew. I think this is the day, maybe it was the 26th. It was the 26th that she died. The stone of the eye of the rose, Sinead O'Connor. The stone of the eye of the rose, moon on Spica, blue star of Virgo, the harvest, La Marianne. Tess, La woman. Tess, d'Urberville, urban. You have rural and urban. The turban woman. So she wears her turban. She wears her veil. Tess of the Urbervilles. The Church of Saint Roch, French style, is a 17th, 18th century. Yes, so this is what the day that she was buried in the Church Saint Roch in the first arrondissement in Paris. So, dedicated to the Saint Roch. It is located at 284 Rue Saint-Honoré in the first arrondissement. It's built between 1653 and 1740, right? So that was that. Somebody's showing me this X marks the spot and Twitter. So good predictions from JP, Jude, Pete and Paul. But she's also just done a live about the aliens, and she is galactic. She's the galactic gap. So, you know, you always just have to take and leave from people. So then I had the military 5 days ago. That is the helicopters over me. And then this post is all about Venus, and this is important. So we're going to try and open this one. Are you going to open? I don't want to get pushy in case my computer stops. So this was me writing about the importance of Venus. Venus, so we've got 3 8s. We've got the anima. We've got the analemma, which is the path that the sun makes in 1 year, makes an 8 above and below the horizon. Then we've got the 8 phases of the moon, which are shortened into those 4 phases, but there are 8. And then we've got the 8-year cycle of Venus that makes the 5-pointed star. And we have the evening and morning star of Venus and her visible and invisible. So at the moment, she's becoming more and more invisible. Venus, love, peace, the 5-pointed star, 8-year cycle of retrograde to make the flower of Venus. So this will be a 8-year period, and we've got in that opening and closing the great eclipses, which shows us the changing of the axis. And Uno's just brought our video out all about that cross, and I have showed you many times Peter Sellers, who I consider to be playing the leprechaun Prime Minister of the Shamrock, Green Man, St Patrick Islands. So we've just had the death and all this connection with my great-great-grandmother, who, Mary Ryan, which played the role of the May Queen, that 5-pointed star, which shows us an imposter in that northeast axis as the Truman climbs the stairs in the wrong direction. So on the tracing board, the staircase goes up the middle, goes just between Pisces and Aquarius, Fomalhaut, True Third Eye, Lion, Sphinx, and Giza. So Venus is evening star at the moment. Inanna, Ishtar, HAW, Horizon, eyes on Putin as she dances above and below the horizon. Inanna, Nanterre, Nan, the big film in England. Mercury, Cupid, Messenger. Mars, Aries, War in Leo, and Venus retro in Leo. So not yet in Cancer. Leo, Sun, Fire. Cancer, Moon, Water, Solomon. Venus moves forward the 3rd of September, that day I always remember. She is 40 days, 40 nights retro from the 22nd of July to the 3rd of September. Leo is France, Sun King, Louis, Sun is exalted in Aries. It's all this French energy. Leo. France is the sun and the moon. You've got the cheese. Comes the cow jumped over the moon. The cheese comes from the cow, the vache qui rit. And the sun is the sun king. So this Solomon is very much the 5-pointed star, something about France. Venus moves forward the 3rd of September. Yeah, we've read that. 40 days, 40 nights retro. Leo is France, Sun King, Louis, Sun is exalted in Aries, solar pillar, ruler, and Sun rules Leo. Mercury, Mars, and Venus invisible in Leo. Regulus, heart of the lion, A-Lion, Leon, Elon. Venus is losing visibility daily, and on the 29th of July, Venus is invisible. 5th of August, she enters Cancer. 13th of August, Venus is invisible and conjunct Sun. 22nd of August, she is morning star Aphrodite. She rises visible as the morning star Athena. 29th of August, she is invisible again, Persephone, hanging on the telephone in the underworld. Full moon Cancer. Sun, Capricorn, Moon, Midnight Express axis. So that's today. New moon 16th of August in Cali. Mercury goes retro in Leo the 23rd of August to the 15th of September. On the 1st of August, that's today, the full sturgeon moon reaches its peak on Tuesday, August the 1st. And then we have a full blue moon on Wednesday, August the 30th. And it will be the closest supermoon of the year. After sunset in July, bright Venus will dominate the western sky but will sink lower each day. It will reach greatest brilliance on July the 7th when it shines at 4.7 magnitude. Above it lies the much fainter Mars near the bright star Regulus. Mars passes very close to Regulus on July the 9th. So we've got on July the 7th and July the 9th. Again, that's 7976. Mars continues to fade and is only a bit brighter than second magnitude stars. Venus and Mars will be within 3.6 degrees of each other at the beginning of the month, then move apart. The white arrow shows Venus position, so there's your 369, along the ecliptic or path of the sun. Moon and planets show as a green line on our chart for the month of July. And the red arrow shows Mars' path. Also, the moon will sweep by these two inner planets on July the 19th, 20th and 21st. Venus begins the month 25 degrees from the sun and sets before 11 p.m. your local time. However, by the end of the month, it's only 3 degrees above the horizon at sunset and will set at about 20 minutes after sunset. As for Mars, it'll set around 11 p.m. your local time at the beginning of July and will set before 10 p.m. your local time at month's end. So let's open up these pictures slowly and patiently. Doesn't like to be made to go fast. So this is all on the 27th of July. You've got Mercury on regulars conjunct Venus and Mars. Je t'aime moi non plus. The rose Venus goes upright and upside down. It's the rose and the thorns. I think this is going to be too slow. Not sure I'm going to be able to get through the pictures. But I have an idea. Okay, the best way to have a quick look at the pictures is like this. So there's Nanterre. See Nana with the lion, Venus in Virgo, so is in detriment, excelled in Pisces. This is Virgo riding on the descent, Leo INNANNA, the Anunnaki, and here we've got Nan just out in England. And in France, the biggest mark for women's intimate products is Nana. There she is with the two owls holding those double angles, and the mid-L, dub L07, the mid-L is your throat passage back to spirits. There's that V, the 5, the vengeance, vendetta. Venus is in detriment in Virgo and in fall in Scorpio, which is where we're going to have the next eclipse. So these are the cycles of Venus. Evening, morning star. There's the 5-pointed star she makes. This is the Inanna wheel and the different opening and closing of the Venus's journey with Earth. There's that meter 8 and the whale's tail, the wings of Lucifer. Jupiter has no air. He uses the whale's tail, the cycle of Venus, to bring up this Lucifer energy, which the Venus and the moon represent, the hidden anima, the female energy in every man. And animus is the Mars and the sun in every woman. So I've showed you this. This is like the horseshoe. It's also the same as a horse's blind spot. Sagittarius, he is just the four-legged senator. Chiron, he has not elevated to Saturn to find the ability to ride his vessel, to wear the crown. The king always rides a horse because he's activated the philosopher's stone, alchemy, sulfur, salt, Mercury, dark side of the moon when the winter and the summer triangle merge. And this is this rising energy. So here you've got the game of Venus over the horizon. She also has her phases, just like the moon, her crescent and waning and waxing. She makes that 5 petal every 8 years. There's the whale's tail again. And there you have the different orbits depending on the North Polaris star and the spin here. This is that famous talk you can go and see of the man that wrote this book about Venus. I think I got it. Yeah, it will be here. So this is, you know, that Queen Elizabeth image, the plasma event. And in that Thunderbolts project, they show you the new alignment with Saturn and Venus. and the moon, which is what we know as Ishtar, as Isis. There you've got Mars, Venus and Mercury. All three are in Leo. There you've got Venus and Cupid, Mercury and Venus that were conjunct. Here you've got an image of Aska showing the different spin axis of Venus and that Vesica Piscis, chalice, passage. You'll have to come, so you see Venus, she has two directions. That rose, upright and reverse. There you've got the V of the Virgin. Venus, Aphrodite, when Libra is masculine, Taurus is feminine. There you've got that sun, that, you know, the eye of the elephant trunk of the dune. That's our throat passage. The V in the constellation of Pisces, the octopus taking the voice so that the Little Mermaid, the siren, falls to earth as Virgo with legs. The V for victory is just a separated Jupiter and Saturn when they should be merged. 7-7 is the angles in our throats. There you've got Eros and Psyche making that V again, and Mars and Venus making this androgynous energy in this sulfur, salt, Mercury gap, where making this asexual, just like a snake race. So there is Picnic at Hanging Rock. You've got her coming back dressed in red, the lady in red next to the black and white girls. She now embodies the solar energy. The feminine has found her Mars and her sun. This is Mars in Taurus. And that is the film Lucifer Rising with Marianne Faithfull. And in that film, you see Isis. And you've got Isis next to Giza. When Taurus, Isis, the bull, they rejected, the philosophers rejected the true stone, which is Aquarius now falling. This is merging the bull and the lion, Leo and Taurus, to make Instagram. It's Nana in Manga, Nanterre, just next to Paris, there's Nanterre. The Venus flytrap, Paris in black with the torch. The Lost Tomb of Viracocha, so that is, he's called Maurice Cotter, he's called, is it MC, his name? He's called something Cotterell. There you've got that Kali image, you've got those tripel goddesses, you've got moon, water energy, and the earth signs. Moon and water are the feminine energies. And the Venus 8-year rose, and this is your Nana again, the mystic path. So, Sinead O'Connor dies, I think it's the 26th, but we're going to check that. So, very important. 56 years ago is 1977, and 56 makes 11. We've got Saturn at home in the true 11th house, Aquarius, but we're bringing up Mercury. Mercury is at home for this. They were conjunct. Mercury and Venus, Venus going back to Cancer, Mars all in Leo, so this is the Whore of Babylon, this is Inanna, and this is what Sinead O'Connor, the Irish girl, is being honoured as, and she also converted to Islam. So this is the energy of the moon. So she died 56 years ago. She's born in 1967. I've got her chart here. We'll have a look. Jane B died at 76. So she was born in 1967. That's your 76679. Again, a nice, again, the 7-minute ovation for Jean de Barry, 9-minute 6996 ovation for Killers of the Flower Moon, 7667. It's all about current planet placings, moon in Madonna, Virgo, half moon, 26th of July. So the moon was still there, was it? On the 26th. We had Venus was in Cancer for the 26th. She just got back to Cancer. Ah, I went back too far. Okay. No, Venus was conjunct to Mercury, Sun. So this is, you know, Venus and Cupid. That makes the V for victory, Eros and Psyche. Eros steals the voice of Venus. What else was I looking for then? So yeah, where was the moon? The moon was in Virgo at that time, in Libra, but was in Virgo on the 26th. And it was on Spica, the blue star, on the 25th, Betty Blue, BB, Catch 22. I wonder what's going to happen to BB, Brigitte Bardot. Then we'd have the French, the English, Jane Birkin, and the Irish, Sinead O'Connor, the Triple Goddesses. So, Sinead O'Connor, acclaimed Dublin singer, dies at 56. Shuada Sadakat, known professionally as Sinead O'Connor, was an Irish singer and musician. Her debut studio album was called The Lion and the Cobra. So the Cobra is I've done all about the Cobra Gypsies. This is Babylon. This is your spine. The cobra sits on top of the crane, the cran, the skull and bones, to make this passage, this triangle of the dark side of the moon through your medulla, Medusa, your bird. Was an Irish singer and musician. Her debut, The Lion, was released in 1987 and charted internationally. So, lover of hounds. Connor means lover of hounds. In French, like Sean Connery, Connor, con is a con man, it's a joke. Is a boy's name of Irish origins, meaning lover of hounds, perfect for the dog-loving family. Connor is a classic Irish name and sits among some of the most popular boy names in English-speaking countries. O'Connor comes from the Gaelic O'Conor, descendant of Conabare, meaning hound of desire. In Irish legend, Conabare was a king of Ulster who lived at the time of Christ. So it's all about desire. It's all about Sirius, the keeper of the four corners, the Canis, Can, dog star. So Sinead means God is gracious, GG. Meaning God is gracious, the Irish name Sinead has the beautiful meaning of God is gracious, known from many noble Irish figures such as Sinead O'Connor and Sinead de Valera. This name has firmly engraved itself in Irish culture and media. Surprisingly, though, Sinead is also great for people who love the name Jane. So interesting, they should put that. This is the passage. My friend is between two worlds at the moment. And this is the arc. It's the cornerstone. It's the cornerstone, that merging, that two corners of the brain, dub L and the mid L07. The three leaves, so Irish, IRA, N, Iran, green, while trying to convert the Irish into Christian. St Patrick used the shamrock to explain the Holy Trinity, with each leaf representing the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Mercury, sulfur, and salt. The three leaves of a shamrock are also said to stand for faith, hope, and love. So we've got the triple goddesses, We've got the nucleus, the proton and the electron. We've got liquid, solid, gas. We've got the three crosses, and that has been perverted into the three kings, into masculine energy when it was always feminine energy. Shaved head is before execution. The punishment of shaving a woman's head had biblical origins in Europe. The practice dated back to the Dark Ages with the Visigoths during the Middle Ages. This mark of shame, denuding a woman of what was supposed to be her most seductive feature, was commonly a punishment for adultery. Shaving women's heads as a mark of retribution and humiliation was introduced in the 20th century after French troops occupied the Rhineland in 1923. So that is 100 years ago today, and she dies with a shaved head, showing us her crane, the lion and the cobra. German woman who had relations with them later suffered the same fate, and during the Second World War the Nazi state issued orders that German women accused of sleeping with non-Aryans or foreign prisoners employed on farms should also be publicly punished in this way. So this was a good article. I'll roll down, you can read it, explaining many victims were young mothers whose husbands were in Germany. Yep, so explaining this hate. Eight, Venus, eight, the gates, the Bee Gees staying alive, beehive. Cancer is the beehive constellation. This Bee Gees, Grease Lightning, electric ELO, electric light orchestra, turning the switching of electric and magnetic. So here come the helicopters. 5th Regiment of Pau, which is on the North Pointed Star. They're going to come over right now. They're busy today, and we've just had that warning of TIC TAC TICK TOCK written on the centre of my village and at the entry. So you can read all that. Near Bayeux, that's where the tapestry is. Is in Bayeux, where they had D-Day. Bayeux, you've got the big tapestry, the medieval unicorn and the lion, the unicorn and the lion, the cobra and the lion. Okay, so we're going to try and open her pictures. I'll pause. Okay, so basically it's the same pictures, just so you can join the dots. Remember the 5 women in Little Red Riding Hoods in front on the Champs-Élysées, in front of the Arc, the Eye of the Triomphe, which was that elephant. That was what the pictures was showing in Dune that I couldn't open, showing you, reminding you of the Arc. They had the closed eye last year, was it the year before, when they closed it, and it should have been an elephant. It was normally an elephant. It's an elephant without a trunk. The elephant has got 4 legs and a trunk, which is your ability to find that 5. Nelly the elephant packed her trunk. It's the Hierophant. So there they all are, showing one breast of Venus in front of the police, rising this masculine energy in Libra, feminine, you know, the seductive, turning that Venus, that, you know, making that masculine feminine, and in Taurus making the feminine masculine. So there's Coco Chanel 5, number 5, and Vanessa Paradis in the birdcage. Inanna, the stamp of the triple goddess, the turkey, the 3 triple goddesses between the 8 phases, the revolution, the one breast, the fleur de lis, the same as the shamrock, the beehive, the medulla canary, and this Virgin Mary energy with the Islam, bringing up this energy of Sinead O'Connor. She lost her son, Shane, and she was left with three daughters. So there again, that shows us the Cancer, the Scorpio, the water energy, the Kali, the triple goddesses merged. And here she did dressed as a priest. And that is her chart. I'll take you to see that. Okay, let's go and have a look. Honor, Leo, Virgo, Whore of Babylon, 9th house, ruled by the Sun, on Regulus, fame, Sun in Scorpio. She has her exact axis, exactly like Jane Birkin did, but Jane had Taurus on this side and Scorpio on that side. So Scorpio is the true new MC, and this feminine axis fixed cross, Taurus, is now currently the only sign of the fixed cross, and we have the other points still immutable, just like she's got the feminine mutable cross and the feminine fixed cross. So she's got Sun and Venus. I haven't checked on Stellarium. Maybe that Venus is just in Sagittarius, but here it's definitely in Scorpio, and that is right on this gap that she's got between her 1st and 8th house of the Merlin and Arthur, bringing up summer triangle, winter triangle, and right on that gap Venus bringing up Ophiuchus, the green gods. So she also has Mercury, Venus, so all in Scorpio. She lost a child, Mercury in that 12th house, what we lose. Sun and Venus making a semi-square to Saturn. She's got Saturn where Saturn is now in Aquarius. These retrogrades. And she's got Pluto, and she's that famous 1966 fire horse women that all have Pluto and Uranus conjunct in Leo, burning down Babylon and playing this role on the 10th house as this, this virgin, the Virgo girl. So she's born with moon on Spica, exactly where the moon was for her departure. We put transitions. So this is now, so the moon is, let's put the transitions for the day. Okay, got helicopters coming back again. Chart selection, transitions, transits, and let's put the 26th, 7th, show the chart. So you see her moon was right. On her moon, the tail of the snake was right on her moon. And the head, she was about to have a closure, but Jupiter was on top of her north nodes. Yeah, the sun was right on her Jupiter. We've got Mercury, Venus, and Mars opening her 9th door. Opening her 9th door. And I'm sure that I will see a lot more, that I'm not. Uranus just opening her door of health, Virgo girl, right, coming up to Algol, opening that door. So you see, she's got this Saturn in the 3rd house. Must have been something going on with one of her brothers. She must have lost a brother or sister or something. Death. Yep, she's always been very spiritual. Mercury, the ruler of her Virgo, where she's got Mars. And I would say maybe her moon, we don't know, probably her moon I'm not going to open it now. It may just be in Libra, but I reckon this was all about the moon being right there. Incredible. So, black and red, Queen in Waiting, Princess Catherine, like the motherland, Russia. Hi, flights. Great. Motherland. Cat. Rhine. CR. Rose White, Rose Red, Kate and Meghan, Rover's Return, Romulus Remus, Louvre, Mother Wolf, Coronation Street, Pluto cycled 24400 years, has closed 1766, 2023. In Capricorn, Mother Hubbard, 20 years revolver solution, Russian roulette, revolution. Catherine II, most commonly known as Catherine the Great, was the reigning empress of Russia from 1762 to 1796. She came to power after overthrowing her husband. So the 1 is a 7, the 7 is a 7, the 9, the 1 and the 7 make two 90-degree angles. That's what they are, a leg, a 90-degree angle, but just with a tilt, and that's 7. 9, 6 is a 6 or a 9. Cali, Cancer, Capricorn. She came to power after overthrowing her husband, Peter III. Wikipedia. Born May the 2nd, 1729, house at 1 Farner Street in Zekazin. Died November the 17th, 1796 in Winter Palace, St. Petersburg, Russia. So her children were Elizabeth, Ulrich, and you can read all that. So let's move on. Storms. My friends. Right, so nothing compares. Joan of Arc was caught in Compiègne. Compares, pairs is an anagram of to leave, to go in French. Part, sung by Grace Jones. Part et surtout ne retourne pas. Rapes. CR, Cairo. I sung you that song, MC Solar. Caroline is the Cairo line. So, nothing compares to you is U2 in the Mirror, the Irish group. Bono, Skull and Bono. Her album, The Cobra and the Lion, is the skull. And you two are the two twin pairs of DNA. In our village at the beginning of COVID, they brought down the house number 23. They just brought a whole house down. So St. Patrick, the GG Green Gods, this is, the DNA, Dan, the tribe of Dan, the Celtic tribes, the biggest selling single in France is Tribe of Dana. St. Patrick, the GG Green God, takes the lunar NRG, the 4 phases of the moon, then the Green God is born. Ukraine is derived from a word meaning frontier or borderlands. Its native dislike the definite article that is usually placed in front of it. The Ukraine, as this seems to suggest that it is not an entity of itself, but merely the edge of other people's territories. Ukraine is derived from a word meaning frontier or borderland. It's so Saturn, he rules borders, frontiers. He's in Saturn. Can you make it past the horizon, the line? Here come the helicopters. They're all above the castle, Puy de Dagin, where William and Kate came here. Ruled by, owned by an RG, Richard Green, on each side of me. RG, and I'm the N here, the vortex, the NRG, Jour J, JJ, JG. So this was, somebody mentioned this. The reason I know this is because I was listening to the radio as I went to see my friend, and there was a French intellectual speaking on the radio saying that the Ukraine was the borderline between Christianity and Orthodox religion. So Orthodox is another word for Taureau, and docks is the docks of the harbour of the port, but it's also the doctor, docs, what's up doc, Looney Tunes. So we'll come to that, but it's as this seems to suggest that it is not an entity of itself, but merely the edge of other people's territories, states, and much less nations, rarely possess natural frontiers or discrete entities, and Ukraine is a case in point. Sinead O'Connor was known for singing, career and activism, but away from fame she was a devoted mother of 4. The star, who died 56 after being found unresponsive at her London home on July the 26th. So that's 7 July and 8/6/26. That's 13 and 13. Makes 26. She was outspoken on many things, but kept her kids out the spotlight. I don't like saying kids. That's baby goats. It's children. So Shane, Looney Tune. Go look up what Shane is. I've already covered it. S and Ain. That's Ain, like my village. Aignan. N is hate in French. So he took his life at the age of 17. So this you can read, but it's important because I found this article about Ukraine and all about the truth of this country, and it just being this meeting point of the Ottoman Empire. When Mongol power waned, the area around Kiev was overrun from the north by the Duchy of Lithuania, and in turn came under Polish influence when Lithuania united with its western neighbour. First in dynastic marriage alliance in 1386, and then in fuller union in 1569. Ruled from Krakow, what was now the southern reaches of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, was explored. So anyway, this is incredibly interesting. It's all about the Cossacks, the Don, the Turkish Ottoman, and this, I found this in The Guardian. And look, all this connection, so of their own Lviv and Kiev, but were ignored by the great powers map making at Versailles. The devastation and depopulation in Ukraine in the First World War was the beginning of the worst period in the region's history. So, and then it was separated from Russia. In a perverse way, the Soviet Union had encouraged Ukrainian nationhood, but it was by no means a foregone conclusion that Ukraine would break away when the collapse came in 1991. That again is the 111199 is double 90-degree angles, and the 11 is showing us 99911. You need 911 is just 777. You need that last leg, Remembrance Day 1111. So the explosion of the Chernobyl nuclear plant in 1986, that's the day Pluto left Virgo, entered in 68, Rosemary's Baby left in 1986, and these are the children activated now, and that's what we've got, Pluto retrograde from Capricorn to Sagittarius, black, yellow, and then we'll return on the 3rd of January, activating all this generation born between 68 and 86. So Mo's cow, just the cow, Mo's cow. So I'm going to let you read that, and we're going to finish with 2 last posts. So Death, portal, fertility, and Sagittarius, Chiron, Mr. Tumnus, that is your summer triangle. Dionysus, Bacchus, Soranus, Mr. Tumnus, the wounded healer, opposite axis, Taurus, Gemini, winter triangle, silver gate, golden gate, sits Merlin the magician, and you birth in the galactic gap the GG, Green God, the aliens, the gangster empire, the lawmakers and the lawbreakers, the sultans of swing, the cobra gypsies. Take her fertility, they kill the dark side of the moon. So this is the snake rises as an eagle. Scorpio becomes an eagle to carry the Libra, to find the long lost wisdom, fiery serpent on the pole. But this is the green god, the pharmaceutical god. So the sultans of swing take her fertility, they kill the dark side of the moon. Hell hath no fury than that of the scorned woman. Very much the energy of the Sinead O'Connor. The dark side of the moon, the deadly mother, the life-death portal. So I saw a little clip of Russell Brand talking about when she had some viral video of her breaking down, and then Russell Brand was analysing the video talking about her mental health. So this is when that gap takes over the, you know, to take the life-death portal. This is where we have the gurus, we've got all the doctors coming in, all the healing, we've got the twilight zone, we've got the pharmaceutical and the mental health. Pluto was 56 years in Cetus in the Victorian era, under Pisces, Aries and Taurus. Cetus just is underneath, and Pluto spent 56 years going through Cetus in the Victorian era when they were preparing the golden dawn of this mental health energy we're going into. So the dark side of the moon, the deadly mother, the life-death portal, it's all about the twilight zone and taking over mental health. Mindful people have no connection to the moon phases. The anima is the hidden Venus moon in every man. Silver locks is the passage, not Goldilocks. So to the phantom's back, the crown is near, but by his head marked near at hand the head of Ophiuchus. And then from it you can trace the starlit Ophiuchus himself, so brightly set beneath his head appear his gleaming shoulders. They would be clear to mark even at the mid-month moon, but his hands are not at all so bright, for faint runs the gleam of stars along on this side and on that, yet they too can be seen, for they are not feeble. Both firmly clutch the serpent. This is Inanna, who holds two serpents in each hand, and this is Hercules birthing Ophiuchus. It's the son of Chiron birthing this gap that's been created by the Georgie, Julian, Gregorian, Jane and Gainsbourg. Goodbye Jane gap. Both firmly clutch the serpent which encircles the waist of Ophiuchus, but he steadfast with both his feet well set tramples a huge monster, even the scorpion standing upright on his iron breast. Now the serpent is wreathed about his two hands, a little above his right hand, but in many folds high above his left. Ophiuchus was raised and mentored by the Senator Chiron and was taught the ways of medicine. He grew up to be a famous miracle medicine worker and healed all he could. Ophiuchus was then given a magical healing potion from the goddess Athena. This is this invisible Venus we're coming into, made from Gorgon blood. With this potion, he could heal anything. He could even bring the dead back to life, very much, which is what is happening, keeping people in the physical. You know, this is the SADS. My friend is tears coming from her eyes, in her body, and breathing. And she's making this very marked point where we have to be, and that's what I say to her. I hold her hand and say, Jane, just navigate, let go, navigate. But you know what? She was given 5 Vashkiri and you know, this twilight zone. is going to be a place where people have to master the flesh and the spirits. The soul is the horizon, but it's been flipped. The horizon is really the vertical, and the mind is the vertical or the horizon. And when you make that cross, X marks the spot, you get the spirits. So Ophiuchus was then given a mandate. We've seen that, but when Zeus discovered that Ophiuchus was disrupting the natural order of things by raising dead men for money, Zeus killed him with a thunderbolt from the sky. However, Zeus later acknowledged all Ophiuchus had done and placed him in the heavens. Now you may be wondering why Ophiuchus was omitted from the zodiac. The answer is quite simple. In Mesopotamia, when the zodiac constellations were first introduced, the sky was split neatly into 12 parts for 12 months. Since the sun spends the shortest time inside of Ophiuchus from November the 30th to December the 17th, the Mesopotamians decided to omit it. Ophiuchus also only takes up 19 degrees of the ecliptic, while the more commonly known constellations take up 30 degrees or more. In modern times, though, most people don't know the symbol for medicine comes from Ophiuchus' staff, with the snake twined around it through the two-snake cadeus is sometimes mistakenly used. Ophiuchus lies between Aquila, Serpus, Scorpion, and Sagittarius, the Teapot constellation, and Hercules northwest of the center of the Milky Way. The southern part lies between Scorpius to the west and Sagittarius to the east. In the northern hemisphere, it is best visible in summer. It is opposite of Orion. Ophiuchus is depicted as a man grasping big helicopter right over big military. Yep. This is all about the next post I'm going to show you. So this is long, but it's always, I have to stay very cool and say all this to you. When I say it out loud, it always makes it a little bit more, but this is how I bust spells. You have to say out loud to bring the voice through. Okay, so, blah, blah, you can read that. You can join those dots, and the wheel is going from 12 times 30 to make 360 to the 5-pointed star, which is 5 times 72. Each point of the 5-pointed star is the 72 degrees. So in contrast to Orion from you read that, because it's all very important of what's happening now. And let's look at the pictures. The WHO, the bullseye, always, the World Health Organization, the WHO, when the HAW WOW II becomes the 5-0, the 5-pointed star of Venus, and the snake is risen. The Cairo is this point. We've got that finger of God pointing between Pluto in Sagittarius, Neptune retrograde, so both retrograde, Neptune and Pluto. Neptune in Pisces, Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces, making a sextile and pointing to Venus, still in Leo at the moment. Venus is exalted in Pisces and in detriment in Virgo. So hanging on the telephone, BT, Liberty Glory, Mr. Soranos, this green god, which represents this god of the gap, the galactic gap, your alien, where, people, the medical and the pharmaceutical and the mindful, and we enter this time. So for the Paris Olympics. Okay, let's try and wheel down if I can. maybe like this. So here is that famous picture of Lars showing us this axis between Scorpio and Sagittarius, and between Taurus and Gemini. So Taurus ruled by Venus, Scorpio ruled by Mars, Mars and Venus, and Jupiter ruling Sagittarius, and Mercury ruling Gemini. Moscow Road in London, we've got the Orthodox Church, this gateway, the Ark, Jupiter, Paris Olympic symbol, the Green Man, the front covers of the French newspapers, the flying saucepan, Nevada forest, the Solomon seal, which is just the eye that you saw in the Twilight Zone, and the seal of Solomon that shows us that key G sits between the pillars, the 5-pointed star, the eye, where Venus is retrograde now. There is the Arc de Triomphe that was wrapped and closed. The veil went over the gap, which is the Champ de Mars on the other side. Rue 5, Rue de Verneuil, we've got the gates, we've got the Teapot constellation, Sagittarius, we've got the Noon Key star right on the bow and arrow of the archer, the arc, they're making their arc as Pluto returns to Sagittarius, and Neptune in Pisces, the Liberty pole, the fiery serpent on the pole, Mars in Leo, Mars ruler of Jupiter, where Jupiter sits in Aries. And Jupiter will still be there for, I think, we'll check for the, do that in the next video for the coming up eclipse. So Ophiuchus, 13th sign, that upside down A, red, yellow, air, fire, sitting on the fertility snake, Scorpio, Taurus, which is the axis of Sinead O'Connor, killing the Scorpio. That 8 is the 369, that X marks the spot of the meter of Ophiuchus, and we've got the nail clippers, we've got the horns, and that mark of Venus, 5-pointed star, the twilight zone going through the gap, through the door, and the nurses and doctors in their masks. He's got his eye here, can you heal yourself? And there is the lion and the cobra, the Ukraine, a 5-pointed star, Amit, devourer of the dead, holding the sickle of Saturn, set with the moon crescent, moon Venus, and those two palms, the hand of Fatima, the hand of Fatima, and that is your bunny ears of What's Up Doc and Looney Tunes. Okay. That is the mutable energy of GM. We've got currently here the jazz festival going on, blues, jazz, in Marciac. Here my area is all the 322, Skull and Bone Cross. So we've got that going on in Marciac, so Mars, Iac, like Lupiac, Marsiac, Zodiac ruled by Mars, Marsiac, and we just had the Latino Tempo Salsa Festival, where you have the biggest jazz and salsa, that's tropical, this is the subtropical, this is the equinox, the equator, music, jazz and salsa. in my area. So we've just had that this weekend. So Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, 1886, always night, same as 1968, or this was the year that my great-great-grandmother, the Irish potato slave, was taken a photograph of her by Juliet Cameron as the May Queen in VA Museum. My initials are VA, Victoria Ann, by the Scottish author Robert Louis Stevenson. Right, that's me and my friends. A long, long time ago, I was just 20, she was 40. Grace Jones, that's the song Pa. Thus gets in the middle. This is. So this was last night. Full moon tomorrow, that's today. Moon in detriment in Capricorn, but actually if you can ride old Mother Hubbard, Nan, accept her as enduring, calculating, grounded, capricious, shrewd, overcapable. When not depressed, you get isolated power. Silverlocks, her snowy mountains melt back into the oceans. You can fully integrate the deadly mother, the ultimate queen, 96. Saturn, ruler in Father Air. Cronus and Rhea, Chris Rhea on the beach bitch. Saturn, ruler, retro on Formerholt. Aquarius, the crown. Sun in Cancer, 69. Toxic men who deny their mother as women, who, you know, are not using that masculine energy in the right way. They're Mars and Sun, who deny their mother as their own moonlight sonata. Capricorn Cancer, Midnight Express, in Anna Wintour style. Own your own path. High Cardinal Feminine, Earth, Water, Black-White axis, ruled by Saturn Moon. Matrix. Sun, ruler of Leo, fixed yellow Elo in Cancer, and Mars, Venus, Mercury in Leo. Venus retro back to Cancer, still in Leo for the moment, and Jupiter, Uranus, Rahuing High Cardinal Fire, Aries. Sun is exalted in Aries, so that is Kali, Sun in Cancer, Moon ruler in Capricorn, the peak Nick ta mère. It's a famous phrase of a French singer called Joey Starr, and a song in France which basically just means fuck your mother. Nick is Nick Nike, the same Nike, the statue of Nike that we've seen beheaded, sits in front of Buckingham Palace and on top of the Rolls Royce. Sun is exalted in Aries, so is that Kali Sun in Cancer, Moon ruler in Capricorn, the Picnic ta mère, Picnic de Midi, 5-pointed star is at Pic de Midi next to me, where the 5 regiment of helicopters you just heard coming over come from. So that I don't need to show you. That's pictures of the moon and everything going on in the sky. And then we've got this morning. Tick tack, tick tock, as you know, full moon today. First of the 8th, 1 and 8 is 18, and 1 and 8 is 9. 90 last 90-degree angle makes the 7, the L, the leg, egg. 18 is 180, half of 36, 360 wheel, 180 opposition to the whole 360 wheel. In CC 33, Capricorn Moon and Sun in Cancer ruled by Moon. Capricorn ruled by Saturn, and Saturn on the true third eye to fall on the equinox Aquarius. Not yet, we've got this time, but we're in that gap. My village, the 5-pointed star. AIGNAN, AIGNAN, INNANNA, the weaver of the Labyrinth, ISHTAR EASTER, 8 bulls are sacrificed every Ishtar day to celebrate the bull god Api Bullseye, and As you know, my dog 2019, which flipped, is the same as 216 2016 when Kate and Willie came here. And my dog, unfortunately, had the same name as the bulldog god Appy, Apes, planet of the apps. So in French, you do not pronounce the H, sounds Appy. So bull god, Appy, bullseye in my village currently. Venus that makes the Hawaii 5-0, the WHO 5-pointed star every 8 years, is closing a flower, last retro buckle between Leo, Sun and Moon Cancer. Solomon 101, LOL, double middle L7. Roadwork, so yeah, we've had roadwork since from the dates from the 22nd of July until the day Venus goes invisible. The centre of our village is closed to all traffic. There are 8 roads that go off from Aignan, which is also a play on the word araignée, spider. The N is on, N is hate, it's also the N is the Z. So roadwork since beginning of Venus, 40 days, 40 nights retro, and today TacTics is written where the bull sits on top of the hill into my village and in the heart of my village. Tick tack, tick tock, it's a warning. The Labyrinth is in our village on the church St Saturnin. On the drain pipe, Insy, Winsy, spider. Inanna, the weaver, the spider woman. D'Artagnan is D'Artagnan in the village. 7 kilometers away in Lupiac Loup DIAC Loup, Wolf Flow, Louvre RR 1880. Rover's Return, Romulus Remus, Last Leg, Aignan, Silent G. But would be egg, leg, egg is NAN for INNANA VENUS. Okay, so you get it. Let's have a look. Let's see if he complies and lets me do this without people. Are you waiting too long? Let's see. Is he working? Right. Edit all. So there's TacTics written in the middle of my village and written just where the sign is, 7 kilometers, and the bull sits with Easter written on it. That is Genesis 3:22, and the Lord God said that man has now become like me, one of us, knowing good and evil, and I can't not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and live forever. So it really is this X marks the cross, marks the spots, and my village 32290 is that 5-pointed star. There is Inanna with the 5-pointed star. That rocket was set off on, that's an old post from sometime, it was set off at 3:22 p.m. May the 20th, 2020. And that was Vulcan 9, so 32290. Flower of Life, the Flower Venus closing, the 888s. That 5, when you find the 5 is when we come back out of off the duality, mutable cross, the 3 crosses, the dark side of the moon, the Solomon. There are the eyes on the horizon. In that story of O is water, Lord of the Rings. The door into my church, the roadworks. I took that picture this morning. I got stuck in the middle trying to go back out through the village. And there she is, Coco Chanel, the bird in the cage, the lion and the cobra. The lion lies down with the lamb. They don't team up as the lion and the cobra. That is the Labyrinth on my church, and that is the yellow coats, always the roundabout. The Venus makes her retrogrades, the North Star Polaris, D'Artagnan, Puss in Boots kills the egg, the stone, the cornerstone, and that drain pipe there, the labyrinth is on the drain pipe, Insy Winsy Spider, exactly on the same level as where the cornerstone should sit. That is a painting a friend did of the drive down to the forest, but all those trees were cut down on the day my son-in-law took his life, 10th of October 2020, when Mercury was on the blue star. May have been Mars, one or the other. There it was retrograde, about just ending retrograde, but it was all about that blue star where the moon was for the death of Sinead. There you've got her holding the two corners of her arms with her hands like Amit between the dub L, and she is the O7. Ishtar. Okay. Yeah, well, look, Mercury, ruler of Virgo, is going retrograde, blinded by the sun, 9-7, 7 minutes ovation for Jean de Barry, 9 minutes for Killers of the Flower Moon. Mercury on the 9-7, blinded by the sun, the ruler of Leo, Mars in Virgo, and Mercury continuing to go retro. There will be a new moon, then that is pretty incredible, because that new moon is going to be on the 15th, and that is right between Virgo and Leo, officially in Leo. So Ishtar, Inanna, and that date is a date that my son is doing a big show in London. Yep, typical. Venus will be then going forward since the 3rd of the 9th, so this is all big times. And we have got the eclipse, sun, it's the 14th of October, yep. Sun, Mercury, moon, all on the blue star. I mean, this is massive. All in Virgo, and so, yeah, that's going to be... So this is going to be a partial, because we've got the tail of the snake, which is close enough between Libra. Will the tail of the snake fully be in Virgo by then? Let's check. Let's put that date to see the transitions. So on the 14th of October, very strange winds going on right now. Yeah, that south node, there's going to be one leg right on Spiker, right in between Libra and Virgo, and the head, that first, there's always there's 4 horseshoes. There's one on the, look at the north-south node, lunar nodes. images, you see you've always got one of the horseshoes on the moon's path, one on the sun's path, and that gives you the two horseshoes. So that's why sometimes in astrology, when you're doing charts, some people have got their south north node, one horseshoe in each sign, which is always very symbolic. So yeah, that is why we are having that partial eclipse up. Solar eclipse and the partial lunar on the 28th. So it's a full solar eclipse because the sun and the moon are conjunct, and then the full moon lunar eclipse on the 28th. Sun, yeah, I keep saying it was in Scorpio when it's in Virgo. Sun still in Virgo, with Mercury and Mars conjunct, and Moon in Pisces. So again, that north-south node is going to be right, not so close as to make a partial lunar eclipse. Okay, darlings, I hope you were able to follow all this and the importance of what's going on. It really is this Solomon gateway, and with Venus, that 888, the solar, the lunar, and Venus, the 8-year cycle closing as Pluto finishes his cycle back to black. Okay, I'll leave all my site details in the comments, and I'm about to do a newsletter, so you can go onto my site and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. All my love, darlings. Bye.